因嘜頭請咧何舊唔同菩提自作心光之戒出分之期，又是生於11月7號設壇現爭化供。在於宋柏元殯儀本來同父紀見奉重關燈散花解結真經道橋以此之戰道靈宏生講法。三方大宋求道推雲寶燈田雞檢測當身文秀三批師方三包諸符講法。南無本師釋迦牟尼文庫，南無是大明山師大菩薩，南無幽冥教主地藏王菩薩，南無壇上會上依齊成業，廣魔光臨總金護佑千靈十島祖登極樂指列，仰捐薩長永香清平子夫緊疏二分，隔5年11月7號運送繼受惠於宋式低頭面頂禮次居之我今清真沙君替為人是非水家務三藐三菩提為是林根之當是地住地盡地所和學繼受惠於宋式低頭面頂禮次居之我今清真沙君替為人三藐三菩提為是林根之當是地住地盡地所和學繼受惠於宋式低頭面頂禮次居之我今清真慈悲水家無南無三方林三藐三菩提為是林根之當是地住地盡地Oh kỳ lì đó ye mong ngô lì ye phổ lục kỳ lì sĩ vô la linh thổ bồ làm thổ lô la kim chi sĩ lì mô hô hành đô sa bi sa bồ lô ma hô sĩ nhân sa bồ sa lô mô bồ sa lô lô mô bồ về bồ lô lâm tô cầm chi la lâm mô bồ lô si lục ye lì ye lô lì yi sĩ lì sa bồ mô la mô si lì thọ nhân quay lô kỳ mong đồ lô ba se ye lì mô ba se ye lì thọ lô si vô la ye si la mô mô ba mô la mô si lì si la sam bồ la se lì ba sa bồ lô mô la bồ lô si lì so la si lì so lô bồ thầy ye bồ thọ ye lì thi kiến chi lì si lì lô mô ye mô la so mô si thọ ye so mô si thọ ye so mô si thọ ye si hành đa ye kiến chi so mô la so mô si la sang mô về ye so mô si thọ ye so mô si ki la si thọ ye mô thọ mô ki si thọ ye so mô lô la ki si hành ye la ye so mô li si ki la ye so mô làm mô la đâm mô la ye thọ lô ki li so hành đa ye so mô lan si linh tô hành đô la mô ye so mô quy ye mô lô mỹ đô sông nhân quân chi sai bồ sa hành sông thọ si cao kiến vụ quạnh khai không cầu dị sai vụ ngang xe lì chỉ sa mô dị phong công dị sa sa xích sĩ phong xích sĩ sa sầu sa hành xích diện cô dị sĩ chỉ ba đồng sa mô mỹ mô cao mô thiền mô tăng mô cam sĩ mô hông trong vụ sa sầu sa hành xích vụ lãnh chi lì xích sông chi vụ sa xích hành ngai lại chi vụ dị sa khai vụ mình dị vụ mình trần lại chi vụ lão sĩ yên vụ lão sĩ trần vụ khổ tạp đi cao vụ si dị vụ ta dị vụ sở la cô dị vụ ye phò lò mỹ đô vụ tâm vụ qua lại vụ dấu không cô dân thị kiến đông mong sáng đau khen kịp quân sanh tay dị vụ ye phò lò mỹ đô sở lo cầm yêu tâm bầu thầy vụ dị vụ ye phò lò mỹ đô sĩ tại thần châu sĩ tại mình châu sĩ vụ sang châu sĩ vụ tấn thăng châu lòng trời dĩ say vụ sĩ vụ ye phò lò mỹ đô châu thi sĩ châu dạ kỳ lê phò lò sống như thầy bầu thầy sa chỉ nhân đạo sinh ngô mê thọ yu lai chỉ nhân đạo sinh ngô thọ yu lai chỉ a kim biểu sang si là nương dụng kỳ thẳng khởi kịch lo rai ba chỉ a bao yang chỉ sao ye lao bằng đặc sỏi một thanh ai lên quang lèo chú mình giáo xia dịch phá sinh sinh dài cuốn ai hoài do nói đó một khu hiến bế vì muôn ngày yên ôn nhận quay buồn quay kẹo liền phụng xuống xí phàng xí 此包人只宵夜撈白風得水莫清大量。廣遼處名有事應化先先在本大位，原來道望夫顯比。如門黎應安人歸官為驕年服俗橫事凡幾賣擔就威清，為讓乃廉，孝眷卷成諸身擺清，以神就稱，以令前來升賓歸以故來時大運生機有神略有味，雲泥生錯威則。 富界中三界人云是者，户外透明爱冷，大善橋村老山追拍閃同泰山遠路。後地大行哀山，後唐土地首領為山。明師滿雲神乃是莫高山盡富士山邊考成鳳位，讓大威眾。奉夫守齋之戰橫生，奉哀德有亂人等，兼對位前初住名山初先乃找情。在住名山三先找威清，找情王故顯比。如門黎英而為準令，情夫領言風經展道，以成找情。路衣幻想長生約，偏將有話報是哀快。約上有個是哀蘭，人生樂個寶山。兼對位前初住名山初先乃找情，在住名山三先找威清，找情王故顯比。如門黎英而為準令，情夫領言奉經展道，生來找情。成以來念情住權被明察而成乃情道。明中的庭，乃有娑婆世界難善把威州，世居中國，廣東省順德縣貴州容其鄉現居美國。加州三藩市來於從化縣殯儀館內，奉父祈見，奉眾關燈山花解結真經道橋，以此之戰鬥靈橫生功德。人中持拉公考南明論。孝息練，孝女秀蘭，孝世吳大進，孫女災時，以憐其動人眷人等心誠常悅。如係景山光中為黨齋淨哀瞻，亡故顯比。如門黎英正雲陽明生於1919年11月11號設吉時大限。總押於2014年10月30號吉時查念，閃靈自持。塵世未卜破依護溫為國，教人共濟最司機之中於溫良護方法打戰，推因屈透成量。何教滿救護理之裝心方之界出殯之期，由是生於11月7號不設壇言爭化中。在於從化縣殯儀館內，奉父祈見，奉眾關燈山花解結真經道橋，以此之戰鬥靈橫生功德。三奉大宋頭道虛雲寶燈崖見界，三大雲錯，以居富威山破山攞嚟，生齋糕點果茶茅啦為子，為阿用善靈吟眾享用我等持就供奉南無阿彌陀佛耶。阿彌利多羅毗，阿彌利多智能羅毗，阿彌利多彌迦毗，阿彌利多彌迦多嘅彌利嘅多智多嘅地娑婆南無。羅拉嘅羅耶羅地耶他，阿彌利多羅毗，阿彌利多智能羅毗，阿彌利多彌迦毗，阿彌利多彌迦多嘅彌利嘅地娑婆南無。阿彌陀佛耶羅他嘅羅耶羅地耶他，阿彌利多羅毗，阿彌利多智能羅毗。阿彌利多彌迦多嘅 為江山塞上應直言之天，寶貴分揮下照訪藝之玉泉海大。又獻蒙恩以今就為夢道應提出分誦經，道皇上升孝眷一勤修陳妙果然點神燈之見到靈往生功德，亡故顯悲如門危應，因為正雲旗照天界。復現香光同志，廣垂秀佛之功，萬福天尊普施好生之德，獄中神州同位，讚揚之講。修陳妙果然點神燈之見到靈往生功德，亡故顯悲如泥應，因為正雲早登樂國，復現真正同知廣垂救佛之功，自極天尊普施好生之德，獄中神州東位，讚揚。 子清澈教，為光散彩，上應清明之天。寶貴分輝下照明冷之玉泉望開泰。有獻蒙恩以今就為奉道應提出殯誦經。道王上升孝眷殷勤修陳妙果然點神燈之見道靈往生功德。亡故顯悲如門泥應，因為正雲早燈先香。復願開明同知廣垂救佛之功，玉神天尊報師好生之多獄中神州都為讚揚。寶貴分輝下照普略之玉泉望開泰。有獻蒙恩以今就為奉道應提出殯誦經。道王上升孝眷殷勤修陳妙果然點神燈之見道靈往生功德。亡故顯悲如門泥應，因為正雲飛布南宮。復現十方同知廣垂救佛之功，救苦天尊報師好生之多獄中神咒都為讚揚。照耀救休養之沉雲，寶計宣揚些全台之罪喪。向來關讚神燈開道先令早燈正佳，復願扶盼四告於幽途罪緣解脫燈光，普照於羅峰死雲得道法眾慈悲在陽光大殿珠看關摩傳台狂笑人事大真正音都搖下直放情正之神啊，同根大烏煙人事逐漸形神開際怪，但通於真佳節間自照神號會傳開，胡思亂通將無奈人前傳之狂界，自知為親清大事，世造眾神會良故，又通地 法相奉持，專救度亡靈往生天界，一切順禮，自生清廉，當兵自真。影化救苦，一切上升，復望格九頭之獅子，望百步之長江，先坐正空正明光德，在身照清當齋正見故顯比，如門泥英，因為正雲並及如門堂上歷代宗親，三門如在七拍煙二形神自在正聽兩業。晒花了腰片絲艾，花艾良苑奇花，滿都艾長。 生黃粱依夢，萬事到頭都是玩，人生何處問浮鈎？而今就奉為名揚追戰道亡，上升法是一壇，以今日正更硬，關燈散花接引真言同會宣揚終極小子也còn太遲長，太子呀是反他好華為呀 解冤結，全日有罪都解決。為憑至尊大慈悲，猶如赤日燒冰雪。以今就為亡靈哀求，懺悔冤冤似海，無始以來相累連。今宵幸對亡靈前，一切冤家都消滅。解結解於安家中時，生生世世老相逢，萬歲千年永朝滅。解結解安時，是安往生仙界，父話以天上人間方便第一靈前，幾伴演教為先，其花亦不從天降，其色也不在地生，一片紅係一片青，人間難得半枝子係半枝白，天上奇花拈來似蘭麝馨香，山區如亂飛鳳舞。莫整金錢石谷幽夸，空着牡丹三朵兩朵光輝，十枝五枝燦爛，風不飄係異香馥郁，雨不黏係顏色鮮豔。喜同繁木之栽培，必是仙家之景致。從前看遇自古未聞，不因天上呼揚，安得這般供養。是日計人仙凡，花散千林漸亡，這已超升。寶焰傳而獲慶，散一散與眾齊聲同讚吹一吹花台，仙女盡高飛。今宵演教功德圓滿，黃雲穩步上天梯。復願花落花開，即是桃源之境，無相無結，願為同道之先。稽首歸依無極大道，自心清廉，大約正大呀，最明朝花苦啊，生家的家主南大東海面那天那街。 Nam mô 同玉女兩邊搖，橫鈴柴把劍橋，果夫安橫鈴上安橋，此人啊千夫月啊來呀，天啊社話與嚟親仇嘅呀。輕輕高出塵埃，只橫是橫崖路難過我未途。Nam mô
Good morning, family and friends. We would like to thank everyone for being here this morning to pay respect, to say a final goodbye to Mrs. Yang Lai Yu. Thank you for being here, and not only thank you for your beautiful flowers sending to the family, and also you being here today, your presence means love and care to the immediate family. Thank you for being here today to support them during this difficult time. Now the family would like to share the memories of the grandma and his beloved mother, Elaine Joyce, and then Sao Lan. They're going to share us their memories.
Okay, thank you. So hello, I'm Elaine, the youngest granddaughter. So Joyce and I were incredibly lucky to have Grandma. Every day of our childhood, she spoiled us and protected us. She was an incredibly loving, affectionate person. She was perpetually cute, clever, and witty. So many of my happiest childhood memories and recent memories include her. So I'm going to share a few memories of her here. Grandma helped raise Joyce and I as children in the woodsy suburbs of Westchester, New York. I remember her taking Joyce and I to the bus stop to go to school in all types of weather. I remember I'd always clutch closely to her for warmth, especially on days when we waded in rain and snow. She was always there when Joyce and I returned home from school. She was also always nearby when we played outside as kids, and even used to annoyingly follow my friends and I about 20 feet behind us when we took walks just to make sure we were safe. She gave us loud kisses and warm, strong hugs. She filled our house with delicious homemade Chinese cooking and the nutty smell of sesame oil. Some of my favorite memories were watching her in the kitchen making fried chicken wings and having picnics on her back porch and our front lawn. It was also a big treat to follow her into her garden, where she picked us delicious little golden pearl-like gooseberries. As a devoted Buddhist, I also grew up waking up to the sound of her repeating mantras and the smell of burning incense. Occasionally I would koto with her for fun. She always prayed aloud for the well-being of our family. She was also devoted to our education and educating herself. She was a very disciplined and strong person. One of the common sounds of our childhood was the sound of her reciting English around the house as she tried to learn how to read. As she grew older, she also seemed to grow lighter and younger with age. Towards the last 15 years of her life, I'll remember Grandma as a childlike, funny, and mischievous troublemaker. I have never seen her have so much fun in her life. She constantly spoke in rhyme and sang songs. She took great pleasure in everyday little things. She was also a great reminder that you can get away with anything when you're an unassuming old lady. Occasionally she'd encourage me to cause mischief with her. Sometimes she'd egg me on sneakily to steal flowers from other people's front yards while on neighborhood walks, or she'd ask me to keep watch while she hastily tried to grab for someone else's prized rose. I'd usually try to stop her, but usually I couldn't stop laughing and just let her do it. I could always count on her to be excited to see me when I came home for visits. She could always break my serious mood by greeting me with questions like, "Do you have a boyfriend? When are you getting married?" And I'd usually say, "Tomorrow, Grandma, I'll get married tomorrow." She was also an expert at giving compliments and frequently told me that I looked pretty, that I was a great chef, and that I was smart, which pretty much sums up the best type of compliments. Every day I know I'll miss her and think about her. She loved us, and I know she knew we loved her. I just want to thank her for being the best, most wonderful grandma that anyone could hope for.
Hello, I'm Joyce, the oldest granddaughter. My sister and I were very lucky to be brought up in a home where we could be so close to our grandmother. As kids, she was there in our everyday life. She spoke Cantonese to us, taught us rhyming songs. To Elaine and I, it felt like she was just supposed to be there. I really didn't appreciate that much until I was much older. She often walked around the house knitting with 2 large needles. She was so good at it. She tried to teach me, but it was hopeless. I have a white blanket she knitted for me as a baby, and a large maroon one she gave me as an adult. These blankets have always moved with me to every apartment I've lived in. She was a great hugger. Her big, enthusiastic hugs always came with a loud, squeaky kiss right on my ear. And I cannot speak about my grandmother without mentioning her cooking. I attribute my love of broccoli to her delicious broccoli and chicken dish. On Saturdays for lunch, she made hot noodle soup, which as a little girl, I remember silence except for the sounds of slurping in the house. That's one of my favorite memories. The best dessert she made was on Chinese New Year's, guk jai, a deep fried dough folded over into a pocket with sweet sesame bean paste. It was such a treat. We had mooncakes on Harvest Moon Festival, hot pot and special occasions. She once so kindly cooked a tiny little fish I caught from the Hudson River on a school trip. And she served it up for dinner like this happened every day. Growing up in America, these were unique cultural experiences for my sister and I, and that was all because of her. For those who don't know, she was born in a humble village in Guangdong, China. She left as a teenager to go to Hong Kong and work in a ginger factory. That's where she met my grandfather and raised 2 accomplished children. She lived in Germany, Switzerland, New York, and traveled extensively with the family all over the world. And finally, she spent the last 15 years in the Bay Area. Grandma had a great sense of humor. She subjected us to witty banter, gave her grandchildren playful punches. And she was so persistent with the questions. Grandma would say, "You graduate from school?" "Yes, Grandma." "Good. Now you can take me for dim sum or yum cha." "Yes, yes, Grandma." "You have a bed for me to sleep in your apartment? I don't have to sleep on the floor?" "Yes, of course." "Okay, good." A few months ago in the morning, she started her enthusiastic chatter in Chinese, and as she spoke, she started to laugh and laugh and laugh until there were tears in her eyes. This went on for a few minutes. She could really crack herself up. And instead of attributing this to crazy grandma, I just smiled. I thought, wow, that is the lightness of being we all desire. She really knows how to make herself happy. And as an adult today, I can really appreciate all the joy she brought to our lives. I greatly admire how she put her needs aside for her family, her courage to live in a country where she didn't speak the language. I will always miss her kind nature to our family, friends, and strangers. Every time a guest walked into the door, she would welcome them with a, "Hello, please sit down." We will always remember her in awe, with warmth, and as a pure, loving spirit. I also want to acknowledge my grandmother's caretakers. You all worked so hard to keep her happy and safe over the past decade. Sandy, we really appreciate your strong social personality. Thank you for immersing Grandma in the senior center. Ruth, we would often hear the both of you giggling like schoolgirls. Thank you for being like a best friend to her and letting her have so much fun. Ling, you sang together and you taught her a few songs. We have some of them on video and we'll cherish that forever. And finally, Lillian, you have been there through so much. We are very grateful for your loyalty, your care, and your strength, especially during the last few days of her life. Thank you.
So thank you, everyone who come here to celebrate my mother's life. She, I'm sure, will appreciate very much. I want to say a little bit about her, starting from her childhood. My mother was born on November 11, 1919, almost 95 years ago. And she was born in a village and lived in the village of Guangdong province in the southern China. That area of the village she was born was very poor. Her mother died when she was 12 years old. Her father did not want to remarry because he's worried that those days stepmother may not treat his 3 children, my mother and 2 of her brothers, did not treat them well. So my mother and her 2 brothers was raised by their father, who took very good care of them even though they were very poor. My mother told me that their family lived near a small river, and the income came from raising pigs and silkworms. They also get fish from the river for their food. Whenever there was a flood from the river, everyone would climb up the tree. In those days, no girls were allowed to go to school. She was very jealous of her brothers being allowed to go to school. She told her brothers, "If you do not teach me how to read, I would not wash your clothes and I would not cook for you." All throughout her long life, my mother has always regretted not being able to write nor to read the newspaper. It is for this reason that she always placed great importance in giving her children, my brother Ming and I, as good an education as she can possibly do. My mother has an older cousin living just across the river, and often she swam across the river to visit this cousin. When my mother was about 17 years old, her cousin went with her to Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, my mother took a job in the ginger factory, as Joyce said. Somehow my father, who was much older and a manager of the factory, took notice of her. And she was 20 years old when I was born. Soon after I was born, the war broke out. It was the World War II. And my mother told me that she and I went in and out of the bomb shelters, and there were always curfews. 5 years after I was born, my brother Ming was born. I loved my little brother very much. For most of the day, I took care of him for a short time when my mother went out grocery shopping. I remember I gave him honey, and when my mother came back and found all the ants were eating his ear. To me, he was the cutest baby. During those years, my mother had a very hard life. As I said, in spite of her not being allowed to go to school when she was young, my mother realized very early the tremendous value of education. She did everything in her power to move Ming and me from the school in the slum to missionary schools in Hong Kong. This made all the difference to our future. After I graduated from high school, I was accepted by Vassar College in the US. My mother, of course, was very happy that I was accepted to a college in America. But the thought of me leaving her made her weep days and nights. That was in 1960. For 9 long years, my mother and my brother took care of each other in Hong Kong. In spite of the hardship she had gone through, she's always very proud of Ming, getting his PhD from California Institute of Technology, and me from Harvard, both in physics. In 1971, my mother joined me and my husband, Taijun, in Germany for 1 year. That was one of the happiest years that I have experienced. She then left Germany for the US. In 1972, my mother and Ming resumed living together again. At that time, it's in the New York States. She had a fantastic, happy life in America because Lin and Ming lived with her and treated her exceptionally well for many decades. Lin, my sister-in-law, and Ming have 2 beautiful daughters, as you have seen, Joyce and Elaine. And my mother enjoyed watching them growing up and help taking good care of them. Joyce and Elaine both love my mother very, very much, and they have been great joy for my mother. In 1997, Lin and Ming and my mother eventually settled in Fremont, California, together with Joyce and Elaine. My mother was given a large room facing the beautiful garden that Lin had designed and maintained. So my mother loves her home dearly. When my mother became advanced in her age, she was very lucky to have very kind and devoted caregivers. Lillian Wong, Shaolin, is very, very devoted to her. Lillian has a very supportive family. For most of the days, Lillian took my mother for a daily walk around the Elizabeth Lake in Fremont, and my mother really enjoyed walking there. Another caregiver, Zhang Hingling, added a lot of joy for my mother. She taught her how to sing songs. Art and Ruth Chen and Sandy Mark had done a lot for my mother. So this part I would like to speak in Chinese. 我媽媽喺佢最近呢幾年年紀大咗，佢真係好幸運得到秀蓮嚟幫助佢，同埋秀蓮真係好對佢好忠心。咁秀蓮呢，就佢屋企人呢都好支持佢幫我媽媽，所以佢哋成日呢就去行街。我媽媽成日話行街，咁佢就帶佢去個湖度行，同埋晏晝呢就帶佢個摩度行。咁然後呢就at the end of the day 即係做完之後呢，要我媽媽做 exercise。阿曾慶玲呢，佢呢就成日同我媽媽講笑，佢話俾我媽媽聽：你中唔中意做工啊？我同你揾份工好唔好啊？我媽媽話好啊，我冇錢啊，我揾份工可以賺啲錢。咁阿曾慶玲話：好啊，你中意你中意帶位啊，抑或中意收錢啊？佢話當然帶位啦，收錢啊，你計錯數，人哋罰你㗎。咁佢阿張慶玲又教佢唱歌，嗰支歌咧Joyce係錄咗出嚟，或者一陣you're going to show that video of Grandma singing the song. And Sandy 同阿 Ruth Chen 佢兩個就初就同我媽媽照顧我媽，佢哋一直都對我媽媽好好。Sandy 咧又寫咗我媽媽嘅 biography. So Ruth, you are here. So all 4 of them have devoted a number of years for my mother and made my mother very happy. 所以你哋好多謝你哋四位，尤其是Lillian. So I also want to thank. I think we are all indebted to the dedicated care given by my mother, by Dr. Martha Nutti Kennedy of UC San Francisco. She has saved my mother's life more than once. No other doctor has done so much for my mother. She's really exceptional. Especially in the last days, I was talking to her every day, and she was giving me advice what to do and how to make my mother feel comfortable and advise me what is the right course to take. My mother's goddaughter and my high school classmate, Dr. Karen Fu of UC San Francisco, had been wonderful to my mother. She again played an important role in saving my mother's life, giving us advice about her health. When we were in high school, Karen and I shared my mother's care and love. There was an amazing story about my mother in 2011. She had dementia and also diabetes, insulin-dependent diabetes. But one day, she accidentally got onto the bus by herself. Ming and Elaine got on the train and stopped in every station to look for her. Of course, they didn't find her. And my brother Ming and Elaine finally got off the train in Powell Station after 7 hours of searching for her. They found her in San Francisco. They saw my mother walking on the street with a cane close to Powell Station. My brother said to her, "We have been looking for you." She said, "I have also been looking for you too." My brother asked, "What are you doing here?" She said, "I'm doing shopping, but I have no money." So she was extremely lucky. There's very small possibility that someone would be found this way. So someone must be looking after my mom from heaven. Unfortunately, on October 22nd this year, when my mother was nearly 95 years old by a few days, she had a stroke. She was rushed to Washington Hospital by ambulance because my brother, Ming, and Lillian noticed that her left arm was weak. So at the beginning, it was thought that it was only a mini stroke. But the next day, the MRI scan showed that the stroke was very extensive. And Karen, in fact, could look over the picture of the MRI with the radiologist. So this stroke affects almost the entire right half of her brain. Before my mother was sick, she told my brother several times that she would like to pass away at home. During her stay in the hospital, she was no longer able to express herself, but she was still made it very clear that she wanted to spend her final days at home. In the hospital, when Elaine came over to see her, our caregiver, Ning, told my mother, "Elaine is coming to see you." She said, "Does Elaine has a boyfriend?" Then after that, when she was more sedated, she repeatedly said, "Go home, go home, go, go." So we respected her will and transferred her to home on October 29, 7 days after she was admitted to a hospital. And she passed away peacefully the next day when she was at home on October 30th. And that was her wish, and I'm so glad that we made it for her. She was a very strong lady, always cheerful and kind, with a very strong sense of humor and full of loving spirits. I have not been able to accept, even now, that she has left me. To me, my mother will always be with me, never leaving me, never leaving her lovely family, Ming, Lin, Elaine, and Joyce, and Taijun. And she would never leave her beautiful home with a lot of flowers outside her window in the garden. Again, thank you very much for coming here to celebrate her life.
Think of all the sharings from Joyce, from Elaine, and Xiaolan to let us know that, more understand that our beloved mom, so precious memory, and what she gave us. Now it's time for us to say a final goodbye to Mrs. Yu. After the memorial service, there is a procession to the cemetery. The gravesite is very close to the chapel. It's just right behind the building, all the way up to the hill. So the hearse will be leading the procession. So everyone, you may drive the car and follow the hearse. We will go up where we will gather at the gravesite to pay the final respect. And after the interment finished, the family would like to invite everyone to come back to have the reception at our reception center, which is the second floor in this building. We have an elevator and we have stairs. So when you come back, you may either take the elevator or take the stairs to go up to enjoy the food that the family prepared. And also when you leave the chapel, you will receive a red and white envelope. The white one represents funerals. We have a corn, we have a quarter, and a candy inside. The candy is to take away the bitterness of the loss of a beloved mother, so you may have some sweetness. And then the corn, you may spend the corn on drinks, on candy, and or anything that you would like to spend on, but don't bring this home. So before you go home, use it, eat the candy, and fold the red white envelopes. And the red one is kind of like a lucky money. You may keep it or you may spend on anything that you like. So now we would like to have everyone to come up to say a final goodbye to Mrs. Yu. Our staff will direct everyone to come up. So when you come up, you may follow Chinese tradition. You may bow 3 times, or you may say a prayer or anything that you think is the best to pay respect to Mrs. Yu. 咁而家咧，我哋會係有最後嘅瞻仰遺容。咁稍後咧，我哋嘅儀式完畢之後，我哋將會去到長生地有一個嘅入土嘅儀式。咁嗰個嘅入土儀式咧，將會係喺我哋松柏園。咁其實嗰個嘅墓地就喺我哋後邊嘅啫。咁喺山嘅最篤篤嘅位置。咁稍後咧，我哋會由靈車嘅帶領，咁讓我哋咧一齊去到呢一個嘅安葬嘅地點，有一個入土嘅儀式。咁喺今日嘅儀式完畢之後，家人係敬備咗一個嘅解穢宴，係喺我哋2樓嘅一個嘅餐廳嗰度嘅。咁喺翻呢一棟嘅大廈裏面，咁我哋有 lift 啦，我哋有樓梯。咁你翻嚟嘅時候咧，你哋可以坐 lift 上去啦，或者係行樓梯上去。咁家人係有一啲嘅食物係為各位準備咗嘅。咁然後等一陣上嚟瞻仰遺容之後咧，各位會收到一個紅色白色嘅利是。咁白色呢個咧有粒糖，有個 quarter。咁咧希望大家可以食咗粒糖啦。希望喺呢個傷痛嘅時刻有一啲嘅甜係可以幫你哋係緩解嗰個嘅傷痛。咁另外呢個 coins 你哋可以用咗佢買嘢飲又得，買嘢食又得。咁另外呢個紅色嘅利是咧係好似一個 lucky money 咁樣，一個平安。咁大家利是是平平安安。 咁而家呢，我哋會讓各位係上前有最後嘅瞻仰遺容。咁上前嘅時候，你哋可以跟隨翻我哋中國人嘅傳統，可以三鞠躬，或者如果各位係基督徒嘅，你哋可以係祈禱啦，或者畫個十字聖號，咁或者任何嘅方法係你哋對婆婆嘅表達你哋嘅敬意。咁而家我哋會讓各位上前。 And family members? After they you may give me the picture and place the incense in the room. You can grab a hand, okay? And please have a seat. While you ready? Teddy, give me.係裝喺嗰度，插喺地。秀蘭 and 大俊。So we stay, yeah, facing mom. Take your time. So we facing mom, 3 bows. Just place the incense here. So ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to lower down the casket in Chinese tradition. When we lower down the casket, we turn around and lower our head. So, but if you would like to witness the whole process, we respect your choice. For anyone who would follow Chinese tradition, anyone who would like to follow Chinese tradition, now you may turn around. Thank you. And we also pass out the flower for reference, so don't worry, okay? So, family members, do you want to turn around?
送王灵登交边内雨来，送王灵登交边内雨来。打收經雲參科禮，心願意馬中聖杯，六根清淨護顯藝，聖人命主點藝。正取步高登嘅邊曬，送王靈。 打 為又話係嗌花，如夢幻泡影，如勞約如電影作略是嗌觀。坐之名山初先。故獻拉悲，如門泥嬰兒為準領情故領言風景展道。以成就情，若那觀山又歪色，近聽水戶成春去花還在人來了報哀境。坐之名山初先茶威清，在之名山三聲大找清。找啊清望故獻拉悲，如泥嬰兒為準領情故領言風景展道。生來就情，情啊依賴啊念情住權被明茶而成擺先啊胡啊錯來來嗦羅生啊擺先胡啊錯來來嗦羅生啊擺先摩山茶擺先。生來明茶先備，劍啊優拜三招，地上攞嚟生齋糕點果茶爆啦拜子葉。為啊用善靈吟誦享用我等持就供奉南無阿彌陀佛耶多他伽多耶多地耶多阿彌彌多佛毗。阿彌利多毗迦蘭地，阿彌利多毗迦蘭多嘅彌利嘅嘅羅子多嘅地娑婆訶南無阿彌陀佛耶多他伽多耶多地耶多阿彌利多佛毗。佛毗阿彌利多毗迦蘭地，阿彌利多毗迦蘭多嘅彌利嘅嘅羅子多嘅地娑婆訶南無阿彌陀佛耶多他伽多耶多地耶多阿彌利多佛毗。南無毗阿彌利多毗迦蘭地，阿彌利多毗迦蘭多嘅彌利嘅嘅羅子多嘅地娑。Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ
this is my student, Laser Kaplan, and he's a graduate student at University of Wisconsin, and he will be getting a PhD from me. So Laser, thank you for coming. Yes. So he's a fantastic student. Okay, so I'll see you about the.
Yeah. Are you gonna visit at all?
Yeah, I probably will.
Okay. Just let
I
me
don't
know.
know my plan right now.
Sure.
They are the family from my half sister. My half sister's daughter, Yugit, and
叫我就好急。
口甲佢丈夫，佢哋于清另一個
我嘅姐姐
佢姐姐
雨清
于清之浩同埋
仔同女
佩清 Angel。咁我哋依家人咧都係我媽媽嘅
外孫
外孫。
咁外
Great
great
I took my brother in there. So you got the idea who they are.
yeah
So you want to ask them some questions?
yeah
The most important thing is that my mother passed away very peacefully, and she passed away at home, which she really wanted to, and all this she got, and that's I think the biggest blessing that we can have.
So in New York, my mom sees them a lot. And in California.
When we live in New York, we always have sit together each Christmas holiday. We all
Well,
visit.
we are the closest, very
right.
The closest relative.
She has 6 sisters.
Yeah. It's number 2. That's the number 1's son and daughter.
Son and daughter of sister number 1.
number one son and a daughter
Yeah.
I'd like to say, when you were up in the hill, what did you want to say to?
What would you like to say to my mother?
I think I will always remember her as a happy grandma.
yes
Every time I go to her house, she always, come in, have a seat, have a seat. So she's always, that's how I will remember her. So I hope she rests in peace, and she's in a better place.
Well, let me first introduce them. Both of them are my high school classmates, and they knew my mom a lot when we were in high school in Hong Kong. So my mother knew them a lot.
Yeah, Mrs. Yu has always been very kind and loving to me, and I'm very close to her. She's like a mom, to me. And Sao Lan and I spent many happy moments with her.
Bà mẫu Mrs. Yu, in my memory, she was very kind and warm. She had always wore a very warm smile, and she's very welcoming. Yeah, because we've been friends since high school. So
Kara and I cried together when we didn't pass the exam, or when I didn't pass the exam.
You didn't pass the exam, I passed. I never failed any exams, actually.
She's always number 1 in the class.
No,
I'm
no,
always
this lady.
number 3. The caregiver in the recent years for my mom, and they were really extremely kind and loyal to my mom. So you want to sing a song?
Yeah，
Yeah,
好先
okay.
落大雨水浸街好嗎 ？OK，
Okay.
1 2 3。大雨水浸街，阿哥擔柴上街賣，阿嫂喺企着花鞋，花鞋花襪花腰帶，珍珠蝴蝶兩邊排。你俾余太聽啊！我哋唱俾余太聽。係啊，我哋都識唱。余太咪教我呢首嘅，余太咧教你咩？一隻花插係靚係白蘭珠玫瑰，想你老婆為就嚟買翻威。
再唱一次，唱
氹氹轉菊花園，佢教我呢首係白蘭珠玫瑰，想你老婆就嚟買翻威。氹氹轉菊花園，炒米餅糯米圓，啱啱要我喺度船，我唔睇雞仔，雞仔大捉去賣，賣咗2個錢。喺二嗰時佢咪就話唔賣2個錢賣。我哋都識唱㗎，佢教我呢首。仲有個咩我。
Okay, so this is Lillian. 你最大印象、最高興嘅記憶？
記憶嚟，佢個媽媽。
哦，佢媽媽，佢係教咗我好多嘢。佢話咧，即係做人咧，就要唔好記人哋嗰啲即係唔好處，要記人啲好處，等自己開心啲，唔好等到自己咁 upset。係佢就咁教我。
嗱，阿玲你講咩最大嘅？
佢最大印象咧就嗌我，佢你揾到錢咧要收埋，千祈唔好俾老公啊！我係咩咁㗎？佢梗係啦咁樣。
Too bad that you two don't understand.
Said if you earn money, don't give it to your husband.
Just hide it.
This is Sandy.
余太咧最俾我記啲嘅咧，就係我時時煮啲雞髀佢食。咁咧佢話啲雞髀好好食，佢話你食啦，食過啦。咁我話你食咗幾多個啊？佢話我食咗3個。佢話你又食啦，你又食啦咁。同埋咧，佢講咗好多佢以前細個嘅嘢我聽，每一日講一啲，每一日講一啲。佢又教我點樣睇嗰啲桑樹，嗰啲桑樹咧原係咧有男嘅桑樹，有女嘅桑樹，女嘅桑樹有桑子。咁咧佢又教我，佢話佢點樣，佢哋屋企有個魚塘，點樣捉魚，佢好有趣教我啦。
所以我今日講句係好多係你。
係啊，都係啊，係啊。
你翻嚟。
Yeah。
呢個係 Ruth Chan。
我識咧余太喺2002年2002 At the time， 我第一次見余太同埋余小姐 is in the Stanford apartment, and at the time I found she is very kind, the lady, and the first time when I saw her, she said, "Sit down, come here," and we talked very friendly and very happy. So,余太就咁，我前後啦 ，almost more than 10 years， 前後。Even I
10 years.
Yeah, even I don't take care of her because I have an old mother. I need to take care, and we always like a friendly. I always visit her in the late or something at the home. Every time she look better than my old mom because my mom already disabled. She cannot teach me like something or joking or something, but Yu Tai is very, very care of me too. Not say we just take care of her. Yeah.
When Ruth started working with me, she took my mom to Stanford because I was working there, so she was commuting from Fremont to Stanford.
And we are walking in the Stanford shopping center everywhere. right now when that is all in my mind, she is happy and she like window shopping.
Once I had a party at Stanford, I took Ruth there.
Yeah, I
and my
remember.
mother there, we
Yeah.
said, "You are my sister."
Yeah, yes. You introduced to Stanford, and then Palo Alto mayor say, "Oh, this is my sister."
你記唔記得？佢話我用阿明嗰啲酒煮雞啊，煮雞咁咧，阿明嗰啲酒唔見咗，以為佢阿媽偷酒飲。結果咧，佢話我冇飲到啊！阿秀蘭問我，咁呢啲酒去晒邊度？我攞嚟煮雞髀咯。我秀蘭後來叫我去買嘅2樽酒翻嚟啦，係咪啊？我用嗰啲最靚嗰啲啊，會好快啊，會好會好快啊，呢個靚嘅 whisky 啊！
即係好多謝呢4位女士照顧我媽媽咁多年嘅時間，佢真係好開心，我同你。
係啊，開唔使啊，好開心。不過你哋家人好信嘅，你哋又好
good daughter and good son. They're really good. They treat their mother really
hardly to find in the world. I tell you.
Are you able to record? Oh, they play an important role for my mom. My student in Switzerland, and she knew my mom a lot, and my mom had cooked.
A lot of parties, your mom cook a lot of food for us.
Yeah, well, I have a very small apartment, but we invite 30 people there. And my mother cooked for everybody, and all my students, professors all came. In fact, my mother cooked for many Nobel laureates. She does not put all the food together. She put one at a time. So she would take out about 12. One people eat, and then another one people eat. At the end, people say, "Oh, it's still more to come." Yes, she really loves cooking.
Yes, a great cooker.
Yeah, I'm glad we wrote some of her recipes down. So we got the favorite, house favorites. So.
Yeah, she's very good with sesame chicken.
And everybody liked her rice packets too.
Yeah, 糯米雞 that's 芝麻雞、糯米雞 her favorite. So my sister-in-law, you met.
Lynn. Oh, I talked to you on the phone, I think.
Yeah, Lynn played a very important role in my mother's life because they lived together for decades. And Lynn always give her the best space to live. I mean, her room is beautiful. She has her own bath, and she has the biggest room in the house. And she's facing a beautiful garden. Lynn loves gardens and flowers. So my mother loves also flowers. So she really lived very well. It's due to her.
Oh, she's just so wonderful with my children. Yeah, she's so really good-natured, and she's so helpful to me. When they were growing up. I just my goodbyes. I try to remember her from those earlier days. And I'm thinking she's very in the next world. She's probably very happy, and
I think my mom will always remember me, my brother Lin, and the 2 daughters, Joyce and Elaine, and me and my husband. So she's very close to us. But I think the most important thing is that Lin provided her a beautiful life in America, because otherwise she would be very lonely. So she lived with them, which is very important. She feels secure. So thank you, Lynn.
Well, it's good you tricked her over here, right?
Huh?
It's good you tricked her over here.
I tricked her. Yeah, in fact, when my brother came to America, I came 9 years earlier, and my brother came to America. Then my mom said, I don't want to go to America because I cannot speak the language. And I said, I need you to come to take care of my children. So then said she was willing to come, but I lied to her. I didn't intend to have children. So she made a little sweater for my children, and she even had the mare dye is something you carry at the back, the baby at the back. So she came and she ever since complained that you told me you're going to have a family, but you're not having children. And she said, you're going to find out when you're old, you will understand if you don't have children. But then luckily she had two
I
lovely...
let everybody off the hook. my brother didn't have children either, so,
Oh, your brother.
so it was up to me.
So you are the only one. You have to take care of everybody. So thank you.
I remember from in Yorktown Heights, she once in a while, the Min family invited us, and she cooks very well, series of them, and so she brings them and said, "Go eat."
Just like
So didn't stop until you finish them all. She was a very good grandma.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a student of Solan, and about 20 years ago, and at the time Solan's mom was probably 25 years old, so she came to Geneva a lot. And Solan was kind of a demanding boss, in a very good way. When the strict teacher is good, nice, right? But her mother, her mother was but she always invited Solan would invite her to us to her home. Then her mom cooked a lot of food. She was such a wonderful lady and nice, and everybody loved her. All her students loved Solan's mom. And last week I called one of my another Solan student. She said, "Oh, it's so sad. We all love her, and I just want to say I want to send the prayers to Solan." So we all missed her, and she is such a wonderful lady.
This is my husband's cousin, and the husband, the whole family came together. Yeah, the whole family. The whole family. Cynthia.
Oh, we remember her as a lovely lady.
She's going to take a picture of the whole family.
I actually knew her back in the 1970s when she was in Boston, and we were in Boston at that same time, so I used to see her periodically. She's always a lot of fun, always very positive, and she's a wonderful cook. So I always thought, all these years after she moved out here, I thought one of these days I should go down to see her, but unfortunately before I get around to seeing her, I wish I had gone to see her. I saw her at a few weddings and stuff before, and I think the last time was 2005.
Well, I think at Christmas time, Solan would bring Mother to visit with us, and she was just a pleasant, lovely lady. That's what I remember.
That's what everyone says.
Yes.
And we'll go out to the cemetery together to bring flowers for Titi's parents.
Very important for her.
Yes, very important to her. She always says,
to come to pay her respects.
Yes, yes.
I really don't know her personally. I've never met her, but my husband has taken her to the cemetery many times. And we've always put flowers on her.
We're the cemetery.
The cemetery. The cemetery.
Cynthia's husband is Dolly's brother, and so they're all part of the family.
So my name is Neil, and I'm a good friend of Elaine's, and I met Grandma in 2009 when I used to come by the house, and she was always so much fun. She would always laugh and giggle, and I didn't really understand what she was saying, but she'd always laugh and make me feel very much at home. So that was my fondest memory.
I'm just gonna really underachieve and just coast.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic. You do music, right?
Yes. I play the computer keyboard and mouse. Very, very smooth.
Do you mix music together?
Yeah, I mix music together for TV and radio.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. I hope you forgive me.
That's all right. I understand.
Yeah, take a picture.
Take a picture.
We're buried next to each other. Really?
He and me, but not. Oh, you're gonna bury next to my mom. That's right.
Yeah, but that's okay because I'm the head of wisdom. She has the brain, so a good combination.